What's up guys, quick video here on Jacko on Proving Grounds. We see port 80 is open, H2 database engine, 135 SMP. We see 8082, which looks suspicious, as well as 80. 9092 looks suspicious as well. But let's go ahead and start on port 8082. On port 8082 we see that the username is already populated. Let's try to just click connect and see what happens, and we're automatically logged in. And we see the H2 version right here on the left side. Let's go ahead and copy that and Google it, and we see this JNI code execution script here, and this is the proof of concept, so we can just copy and paste this. This is pretty much just a SQL query that we can use to generate commands. So right here in these parentheses you can see it says who am I, and this is the command execution right here. So we can just change this command to run whatever command that we want to run. So we clicked run, and if we scroll down it says we are user Tony. So let's figure out how and what we can do in order to get a shell from this remote code execution. Before we can get a shell, we need to figure out the architecture of the system. So let's run cmd /c system info. Alright, cmd /c didn't work, so we just took that away and put system info. And as you can see, when we scroll down it says base64 PC. So that lets us know that we can transfer over netcat64.exe. Let's go ahead and start our Python server on port 80, and we're going to use certutil in order to copy over netcat64.exe. So let's try cmd /c certutil url cache split -f, and then our ton0 address netcat64, and let's run it. Let's try to take away that. This looks strange, but let's use the dir command to see if the file transferred over correctly. Alright, we can't do that. So let's do print working directory. Alright, I'm not sure if certutil actually worked, as the output looked a little weird. So let's go ahead and try to execute netcat64 directly from our SMB server. So let's go ahead and start our SMB server, and our SMB server name is hacks, and we are going to run it with SMB2 support. Let's go ahead and start that, and our netcat64.exe file is in our downloads tools directory. And now we're going to run cmd.exe /c with our ton0 address. So this is my ton0 address, and this is the hacks SMB server, and then this is the file that I want to execute, netcat64.exe, and then we're doing -e cmd.exe, and this is my ton0 address, and this is my L port that we're going to listen on with netcat. So let's go ahead and start up netcat, and let's click run and see if it works. And as you can see, we got a shell, and back over here we can see that it successfully it didn't transfer over the file, but it successfully ran the file directly from our Kali machine. whoami/all, and that's not going to work because we use netcat64, and when you use netcat64 you have to set the system path. So let's set the system path to C Windows System 32. Set path equals %, path, %:C Windows System 32. And now let's try to run whoami/all again. And as you can see, we are the user Tony. And we also have SE impersonate privilege. That is one option to get root. Let's run some Windows Priv scripts to see if we get any easy wins as well. So let's go to C and let's mkdir temp cd temp. Now we're going to start our Python HTTP server backup, and we're going to use certutil to copy over our scripts. WinPs, and let's do the -a flag for all checks. So here in the WinPs output, we do see that the C Java temp directory allows for DLL hijacking or possible DLL hijacking since we have write permissions there. Let's also run Priv check from itman PowerShell-EP bypass-C, and then we run Priv check.ps1, and then we execute the command invoke Priv check. Alright, so if you get this error that says it can't recognize PowerShell, all you have to do is change the path. So we're going to set path to C Windows System 32 Windows PowerShell /version 1.0 and set it, and let's try to run it again. And as you can see, it's now running. So as you can see right here, the Priv script, it lists out non-default services, and one of the services that we do see is FI scanner. When the scan is done, I like scrolling all the way down to the bottom, and right here it gives an overview of the findings that it found, and this one says hi. So we can copy this and do Control-Shift-F, paste that in there, and it shows this C Java temp directory as well for privilege escalation, and it says there is possible DLL hijacking available. Also, another key strategy to Windows privilege escalation is to always look at the program files and look for non-default files. So earlier I mentioned the FI scanner. So if we look up this FI scanner, because it doesn't look like a default application, we can go ahead and Google that. FI scanner exploit. And we see this paper stream IP twin. So if we go back here, we also see this paper stream IP. So let's go ahead and click on this, and it says it's a local privilege escalation script. So we need to run this MSF Venom one-liner so we can generate the shellcode. And we set our lhost to ton0, and let's rename this from shell, and let's just name it run.dll. Looking back at the POC, the DLL name needs to be set to uni old is.dll. So let's copy this name and set it to this. And just to be safe, let's actually rewrite this and use a open port, so we know that port 8082 is open for that listening port. So let's just rewrite that. Or we're going to use searchploit to download the script. So searchploit -m, and then we put the file path, and as you can see, we have this 49382.ps1 file, and we can rename it. And let's set our Python HTTP server here. Stop this one. Now we're going to use certutil to copy over the files. So let's go back to ctemp. So we copy over the script and the DLL. Now all we need to do is run the script. So we're going to do PowerShell -ep bypass ctemp and fun.ps1. So we actually forgot to modify the exploit code. So let's go to subl fun.ps1 and see here it sets the payload file to this directory. So we need to change this line, and all we need to do is take away the windows, save that, and let's copy it over again. Now we run it again, and as you can see, it successfully executed. So now let's set our netcat listener, or our rep 8082. And now we just wait a couple minutes and we should get a show. So that did not work for me. Let's try using a stageless payload. So we're going to use Windows/shell_reverse_TCP. Alright, so with the stageless payload, we were able to get a show. And we are into the authority system. But going back to the privilege escalation script, right here it says that it's copying the payload to C Java temp, and that was the writable directory that we found earlier. And going back to this exploit, it says a DLL hijack vulnerability exists in the FJWT service running as a part of the Fujitsu Paperstream software package. This exploit searches for a writable location, copies the specified DLL to that location, and then triggers the DLL loaded by sending a message to the FJTW service over the FJWMIC FJQ32 name pipe. So when running this script automatically executes a DLL hijacking exploit for us due to this vulnerability already existing in this software. Thanks for watching, guys.